Welcome to kathysright.com, your pit stop for the conservative mind, heart, and soul. I'm Kathy. We should have always been talking about politics and religion. We were mistaken. We were being polite. We allowed the Democrats, the obnoxious left wing, to pretty much absorb all the empty space of our politeness. Yeah, that's what they did. While we were being polite and not talking about politics and religion, they were being obnoxious and continually talking about politics and religion. And guess what we have today? We have debt. We have immorality. We are morally bankrupt as a country. We are killing our own children in the womb. We are importing trafficked children into the country ad nauseum. There's a lot going on that's wrong with this country today, and that's because of our politeness. We have to take ownership of that. I'm guilty. I lived in California for 26 years. I stayed mum. I said nothing because I was always outnumbered and outgunned in California. There was one of me for every 10 Americans in California who were all on the left. So I politely stayed quiet, and look at California today. I'm not taking all the blame for that, but that's because of the silence of the right. And we are silent no more, ladies and gentlemen. We are silent no more. You don't hear a lot about reparations lately. Remember when that was all the rage on television and radio and Newsweek magazine? Kamala Harris talked about studying and looking into reparations, but we haven't heard much about it here lately. Notice? Well, let's talk about it. Welcome to kathysright.com. If reparations was a real thing that Kamala was going to look into, or maybe she was going to find the root causes of it, like she's looking into the illegal immigration, basically slave trade going on down at the border. So why hasn't she talked about reparations since she's taken over as the vice presidency of the United States of America? Because she never meant it to begin with. There was no there. There was no way you could implement any sort of reparations because basically you have to follow the paperwork, and nobody has enough paperwork to determine who gets reparations. Because if we were talking about reparations for slavery, that we'd have to go back generations, prove that. Then we'd have to prove our lineage. And then, let's say you're half African American. Would you get half the reparations? See, that doesn't make sense. And we all know that it doesn't make sense. And they knew that during the election. But that was a real selling point, wasn't it? And then there was student loan forgiveness. Well, that doesn't really fly either, because how do you handle those students who didn't get loans and say their parents saved, scrimped, and saved for years for their children to go to college? So is that fair? So that wouldn't have ever worked either. It's still a pipe dream. It's one of those dangling carrots that Democrats dangle in front of the American people during elections to sort of buy their influence, buy their vote, to let them know you're going to get free stuff if you elect Democrats. And then as soon as they get elected, all the prices go up, as they are right now. And what's left is not going to be enough for reparations or even student loan debt forgiveness. So how is that even fair? If you're going to have any sort of debt forgiveness, it has to be across the board. And that will never work economically. And they knew that when they were promising it. It was just a boondoggle, basically. So when people are learning to vote, let's say you're young and you owe $100,000 in student debt. And then you see someone promising you, oh, we just may give you loan forgiveness. Or to Black people, we just may give you a big fat check for something you did not endure, nor did your parents endure. So it's all a lie. It's all smoke and mirrors with the Democrat Party. I hope people understand that going into the booth next year, because they will come out with a fresh new bag of goodies to promise the American people to buy their vote with nothing. And people are going to probably fall for it again, because there are too many gullible people, because they don't teach critical thinking in schools anymore. They teach you how to regurgitate what they said in class, basically. So I'm just asking that Americans, those of you who know, Share your good information, share your common sense with these up and coming young people because they really need to hear it. Whether they listen to it or receive it, that's up to them. They might not listen to what you say this year, but they might remember it next year when they're broke, which they will be if they keep voting Democrat. This is Kathy of kathysright.com. I'll be right back. Keep on listening to Kathy's Right after this message. And just like that, we're back. Four hundred and 474 riots in the summer of 2020, the summer of love, as we are told. No investigation, but we're still talking about January 6th, aren't we? Well, I beg to differ. I think 474 riots coordinated all over the country in Democrat-run cities has to be explored. Where did the pallets of bricks come from? Who paid for them? We don't know. These people arranged all of this on social media. No investigation. They're still talking about January 6th, where one person got killed and she was a Trump supporter. Okay, I saw the videos. I saw the videos of the Capitol Police opening the doors for the so-called insurrectors. Now, if they're opening the doors, then that's not an insurrection, ladies and gentlemen. That is not an insurrection. That was coordinated, and I think Nancy coordinated it. If you ask me, she's the head of the police, the Capitol Police there. I think she planned the thing. Who had the most to gain, and who had the most to lose? Trump had the most to lose by what happened. Trump had the most to lose, and Nancy had the most to gain, and that's why she jammed through the impeachment without any investigation whatsoever into what actually happened, the root cause, as Kamala likes to say. So I'd like to see some investigation in the 574 riots coordinated around this country during the summer of 2020. God bless America. But wake up, people. This is a coordinated effort to turn this country into a communist country, and it's not going to happen on our watch. So pray hard, work hard, and let's do something about this. This is Kathy of kathysright.com. Ciao.